Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. You're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role-playing games with friends. This is the fifth and final session of Swoop Gangs, which is a hack of 1%er, really fun game from Creepy Doll Studios that I like quite a bit. Swoop Gangs is the Star Wars-ified version of the game, but at its heart, it's pretty much the game 1%er. So far, we have been playing on the planet of Taris, Taris, which was originally featured in the video game series Knights of the Old Republic. Taris is an interesting city that in our timeline is part of Imperial Remnant. So it is post the original trilogy, and it is under the watchful eye and control of a man by the name Warlord Zinj. Taris is a stratified city in that there is upper terrace, middle terrace, and lower terrace. And then there is the undercity, which is where our swoop gang, known as the Zidhounds, gowns? What is even a gown? Zidgowns, that's it. Dude, just dresses, Zidhounds, that is where they rule and are beloved by the community. In last session, a whole lot happened. There were some street thugs who were dealing a knockoff style of spice. You guys not only broke that up, but also killed, like firebombed the area where they had their spiders creating the glitter stem. You also discovered more about the connection between the Black Sun, which is a criminal organization, as well as your two rival gangs, the Hidden Becks and the Black Vulcans. You know that the Black Vulcans are a spin-off of the Hidden Becks. It appears that they exist only to do the dirty deeds that the Hidden Becks don't want to be caught doing. The Hidden Becks are beloved by the people of Middle and Lower Terrace. It is a swoop gang that has been around for many, many, many years. And the Black Vulcans are newer, and they seem to be a lot dirtier. They are in cahoots with the Black Sun, and that's not good. So there's a lot of other stuff going on, but that's enough to prime the pumps to get us started. As a reminder, we do have safety tools. We have lines and veils, as well as ask first. We have a number of those indicated on our character keeper. And we also have the X card. The X card is our trump card in a good way that allows us to, if there's content we didn't realize we would need to put a line or a veil on, but it causes any one of you discomfort or really makes this not fun for you, you just, hey, I need to X card or type it into the chat. We'll pause. I won't ask you to explain why it bothers you. You don't have to defend yourself. I trust you. You're a grown up. If this is a thing that bothers your fun, then it needs to go, and I'll excise it from our play. I just may ask just to clarify what was the thing, because this is pretty much a hard R game that we've been playing as it is. So I just want to make sure I understand which crazy thing just happened is the thing we need to X card, and then we'll cut that out. No problem, no fuss, no muss. Open door, of course, is in effect as well. If anybody needs to go, then do so. If you can give me a heads up, awesome. If you don't have that capability, that's fine. We'll welcome you back with open arms when you make it back in. So with all of that out of the way, let's do one more time a run through the character keeper to remind us of our characters. We're going to start from the right-hand side, heading towards the left. Will be joining us shortly. Will is the player of Wild Thing, a Tulls. The Tulls are the four-eyed, really big, fuzzy things with the weird proboscis type deal that, if I remember, went like, but our Wild Thing can speak basic, or at least we can understand it. Steven, you are up. If you could introduce yourself, tell us about your character.
Hi, my name's Steven. My pronouns are he, him. Today I'm playing Dwayne, whose pronouns are also he, him. And Dwayne is a Doug that's like the pod racer Sobulba, who has walks on his hands and uses his feet kind of thing as arms and hands and that kind of stuff. So they're kind of inverted a little bit. Dwayne's pretty simple. He's just basically a thug, right? He's the muscle. He's running around just itching to beat somebody up, and let's see. He has a soft spot for the neighborhood. There's a local orphanage. There's a little hangout place called Sonny's, and it seems like there's at least a certain amount of energy that's spent just to keep Dwayne occupied with other things and not causing trouble. Dwayne's swoop bike is basically sort of a roll cage because he has the tendency to run into things and damage it, so that others have to repair it.
Awesome. Thank you so very much, Stephen. And next up is Paul.
Hello, I'm Paul, he, him, and the character I'm playing in this series is Clutch, also he, him. Clutch is a Duros, and the role in the Swoop Gang that Clutch has is that of road captain, so he's quite often out and about, away from the main crew, the president and the vice president. And throughout the series, we've found out that Clutch is... his long-term project is to actually leave this planet. Whether we'll see that or not, I don't know. He has a wreck of a ship that he is slowly improving, so probably not. Yeah, Clutch, a bit of a thinker, I think over a man of action. But we've got plenty of muscle, so that's no hassle. That's Clutch.
Thank you, Paul. Next up is Brian.
I'm Brian, he, him, and I'm playing Twang, she, her. Twang is a Weequay and the chaplain of the club, and a Xantha player. Seems to be her central characteristic, providing the soundtrack for the gang. Xantha is, we've decided, a mix between a flugelhorn and an electric guitar.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brian. And last but not least is Anders.
Yeah, hello, I'm Anders, he, him. I'm playing Crusher, she, her, the token human of the group. She's also the treasurer of the gang, a job she performs with the utmost dedication, and she doesn't at all pilfer any money for herself or her friends. Never, ever. Yeah, she's got a cool bike. She can talk a good game, and last time she kind of talked herself out of a police station while carrying her unconscious friend out of there. So that's a thing.
Quite a thing. Yeah. So with all that in mind, I think one of the ending scenes that we had was that Twang was up at the Upper City dueling ring performing a duo with Sim Seagwalt. So I think let's pick up with there. Twang performed. It was amazing. We had like Twang playing the lead with Sim falling into backup because she just couldn't quite play particular notes. She'd bitten off more than she could fully chew and swallowed her pride and asked for your help. And Twang, you pulled it off. And after you finish, there were people, like there was a duel going on. The duel continued, but as the duel came to an end and your song rose to a crescendo, a lot of people's eyes went from the duel to you, and there was some applause, and a lot of people were quite interested. And then you notice that Hajur sends a runner to ask you to come and see them. Difficult to refuse an invitation from Hajur. Hajur the hut who owns the Upper City dueling ring. So I would assume you accepted, or am I wrong? Did you decide to ditch?
No, I'm not feeling that crazy. I'll pay my respects.
Cool. So you head from the area where you performed and walk up and head up to the catwalks and walk across to the little flowing dais where Hajur is. Like, Hajur isn't on a floating palanquin as much as he's on an entire dais that can float and hover and move around. He's got the traditional setup to where it's as if it's like a little miniature throne that he's upon as he gazes down on the dueling ring. It's pretty high up. It's the, if you were to fall off of this, that would definitely suck. You would break a lot of things. Oleander is the beautiful dancer. His favorite dancer is leaning against his big slug belly, and you see that he's affixed the chain around her neck, and he has it just draped over his hookah. He's not holding it. And he looks at you kind of up and down, his huge eyes, the size, each one of them about the size of your head. And he says,
"Who knew a weak way could play like that?"
Well, most can't, maybe.
You have talent. It's special. Why have you not played for me more? I have a chiss who's a pale imitation of you. I want you, Twang.
Oh, I mean, that sounds nice, but I couldn't play like that every night. But
Why not? Why do you refuse? Look, see all the people. Even more would come to hear you play.
yeah, but I couldn't keep up that kind of performance night after night. But happy to come once I've recovered for a special occasion. Keeps it more special that way anyway.
What is it? You make more money down there in the Undercity with all the trash.
The Sid Hounds aren't just about making money. That's my family.
Well, between you and me, little Weequay, I hear that the Zidhounds may not be around much longer. One of them pissed off the Imperials. And that's not good. Think about it. If you decide to come crawling back up here to me, I'll save you, Twang. Go about, drink, food on the house. You played well.
Thank you.
The whole time, Oleander is watching you closely. What do you do, Twang?
I'm going to get out of here while I can.
Okay. So you play cool for a little bit, just enough to where his eyes are on someone else, and then you scoot out of there. Awesome. So let's see who else. Where should we pick up next? I think I've got a scene, but I'm really curious if anybody had in particular something they wanted to do post the activity that we'd had at the end of last session. Do anybody have any particular scene they want to call, or should I throw this giant steaming hot potato in everybody's laps. Hey, Will, welcome to the game. Enjoy your steaming hot potato.
Mm-hmm. I'm ready for a steaming
Do
hot
we
potato.
want to roll for karks?
Yeah, everybody roll for karks. That's right. Boy, I am bad at that. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Look at Clutch. You are always full up on karks, if I remember correctly.
There's something wrong there. Oh, there we go. That's better.
Oh, Crusher is karked up too. Ow. Oh man, you guys are loaded for bear now. Wild Thing with 8.
I don't think I've rolled lower than any
I don't
session.
think you have. I don't think you have.
Feeling confident after our recent successes.
Twang with 8 too. Oh, the dice love you guys tonight.
The real problem is that Wild Thing just has too much of a kark to give, you know?
All right. So everyone with 8s and Dwang with 5, right? Wow, that's impressive. Impressive. It's perfect for the final session, the final episode of our mini series, Zidhound Swoop Gang. By the way, Will, you missed it. Maybe you'll watch it on the tape if you ever go back. I said Zid Gowns. I don't know where that came from, but now I have an image in my head of like a gown and with a Zidhound wearing it, and that's just not getting out of my head. I want to share it with you.
I thought you meant like a fur gown made out of zit.
Oh, that's even better. Yeah, Zid Gowns just made out of a zit. That's great.
South Sideline.
Sweet. So then Baby Twang is headed back to the salvage yard. You guys are around when we're going to have an introduction of a kid we haven't seen for a few sessions. The wonderful, our wonderful little, our little orphan, Robo Wookie Delgeno, as he comes running on his hands up to slap his feet against the salvage yard doors, and he's calling out, "The imps are coming! The imps are coming!" And we'll say that maybe Twang, you're coming back on your swoop. What's your swoop bike like? They have a wall around the salvage yard. You can just float over that because, swoop bike. So that's not going to stop you. Maybe you're zipping over top as you see the young little Doug screaming that the imps are coming. The imps are coming. So we'll catch up with Clutch when you spot maybe on a little cam the Twang is coming back, and you know that Wild Thing and Dwang have returned from their dark deed. We'll say that it's evening, and someone is yelling at your gates that the Imperials are on their way. What do you do, Clutch?
Well, I'd like to think we've got some sort of alarm button. So, I'll hit that, and maybe we can get a sort of a siren going off in the trash yard. And I'm really interested. So I'd like to, is the camera one of those classic sort of like pop-out cameras? I'd like to try and sort of like refocus that and see what we got incoming.
Cool.
While the rest of the crew and hopefully the VP and a few others sort of rouse themselves.
All right. Well, as we pop the view, you see that Undercity, there are areas, ways to get down. You see that there's a large stormtrooper troop transport that's humming along, just skimming along. And of course, it's like broken duracrete. This is thousands of years old, but this moving along. And there are a few scout troopers on speeder bikes that are like parade formation. There are 4 of them on either side of the troop transport, and they pull up right outside of Sunny's. And a bunch of stormtroopers are getting out and making their way towards Sunny's, where, it's a restaurant, but it's also a little bit of a soup kitchen. And it looks like they're going to go in there and cause some trouble. Let's cut over to Crusher. Crusher, were you in the salvage yard at the time, you think?
Yeah, probably. Since the president is back, and I think he and the VP, mainly the VP, is keeping me busy, making sure my indiscretions are not discovered. Probably need to manage the money, basically.
Mm-hmm. That sounds lovely. Cool. So we'll say that Wild Thing, Dwayne, two of you are together when the alarm goes off. What are you doing?
I think that the alarm is like a repurposed garbage scow kind of thing. So it's like the backup, whoop, whoop, whoop. And I think Dwayne hops up and runs over and kind of bangs this old piece of garbage. It's like an old canister or container crate kind of thing. And the side falls out, and inside is like this cache of weapons. And everyone comes running. The guard members don't know what they're doing. The gang members don't really know what they're doing. And he starts, pulling out things and sizing people up. And he's like, okay, you get this rifle. And up comes like Lurba, the Gamorrean. He pulls out like this big, thick stick. It's sort of like a crowbar or something like that. And he's like, you're gonna wait in line, and you're gonna clobber somebody with this. And he starts passing out weapons, and these are decrepit. They're not really up to speed, but he's busy like, oh yeah, we're gonna get all this done.
Nice. And Ray grabs a weapon that you hand over and raises it up like a Tusken Raider.
Yeah, that's right. It's actually one of those sticks. It's a
Gaffney
stick.
Gaffy stick.
Gaffy stick.
Okay. Cool. Sweet. What about Wild Thing? As you see that Dwayne's decided to be the gunny.
Well, there's a troop transport at the gates, right? Pretty much.
Not far from the gates.
Yeah, it's over at Sunny's, right?
Mm-hmm. It's over at Sunny's right now.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go out and talk to the Imperials.
Okay. That's it. So Clutch, it looks like Wild Thing has decided to just leave the safety of your salvage yard to go out and have a calm conversation with the Imperials. What are you doing?
I'm on my swoop bike, of course.
Oh, okay. Flying out.
Because it's like chugging along down the street, right? Slowly kind of gliding down with a very Western style.
Yeah.
I'd like to do a Picard-style face palm at this stage. It's quite a large force, yeah, by far bigger than what we could take, really. Yeah. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yes.
They mean business.
Yeah, 20 troopers, 4 scout, and you know that these guys are out here, and if you wipe them out, there are many, many, many more.
Many more. Yeah. I think I'm going to shout to the president of the V-Pres, get to the transports, get to your bikes. We'll hold them off for as long as we can. Grab as much of our stuff, as you can. Get out, Prez. You don't want to fall into Imperial hands again. We can't allow that. So we'll hold them at bay while you guys make a run for it.
And of course, Cap says, "Yeah, you're right. You got this, Clutch. I'm gonna get my uncle out of here. You couldn't handle
Cap.
Another trip." And Cap will get Murgo out of there and happily escape. Yeah, that sounds great. He is totally good with that. As you guys are, as Wild Thing is heading out to speak with the Imperials, Clutch, you're having these conversations. I think it's who they reach out to. Oh yeah. I think it's Crusher that your comm unit flashes with an incoming message. What do you do?
I will answer it.
And there's a moment, it says, you hear a woman's voice. Nira Karg, this is Booley.
Oh, right. That was, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. What do you want?
I heard you guys might be in a little trouble. You know, they're looking for you.
I'm sure they are. Is this also your doing?
Well, you know, the Imperials, they just won't be denied. You caused so much trouble at that detention center. I mean, the cops, they tried to hide it, but once the imps found out, guess it's out of their hands.
Yeah, so is this where you offer me some kind of deal to make this all go away or whatever?
I think you and yours should get off planet.
Planet?
Yeah. Terrace doesn't
Yeah, you
want
got a
you
ship
here.
for us?
I could get a ship for you.
You're
It's
really that
awfully easy.
anxious to get rid of us?
I am.
You're
I
that
am.
scared?
I'm not scared. It's just a lot cleaner if you're gone. Do you really want a war? I don't want to lose my people. Do you want to lose your people?
No, but we're not looking for a war. That's what you are doing.
You not be looking for a war. You definitely have one on your hands. Okay, well, I thought you were the smart one of the group, but I guess I was wrong.
I'm smart enough not to trust you. Again.
All right. Well, may the force be with you, Crusher. So we cut to, she cuts the comm, and Wild Thing, you head out towards the imps. I imagine they're going to aim blaster rifles at you. They are nervous because you are a very big, hulking brute of a thing.
And I kick the stand down on the swoop bike, right? And, stand off it and... What seems to be problem, officers?
Easy now, big fella. We don't want to have to blast you.
Don't see imps down here often.
Well, you're going to see us more and more. Somebody get his idents. What's your chain code?
You think people have chain codes down here? Who do you want? Maybe I help you find them. Get you all out of
Karg.
Karg. Who's Karg? I can take you to Karg, no problem. She ain't here. She up top.
A couple of the troopers look at each other. There's one with like a orange shoulder pad thing. Seems like it's some kind of indication of him being a higher station than the others.
412, 318. Go with the towels. Listen, you get us our quarry, and we won't cause any more problems. But until then...
You're gonna need more than this. Karg runs with bad group. Hidden backs.
The troopers kind of look at each other for a second. I think that's where you're going to have to try to
take a
draw
roll.
that.
Yeah. Of course. I mean, I didn't know how I was going to lie when I went in there, but I knew it was going to be a lie one way or the other, right?
I'm surprised.
Yeah. I think is it? It's being badass, right? I imagine.
I
right?
think so. It feels
Yeah.
badass. You're like right up in their faces, lying to them. That's pretty badass.
So that is 2, and then draw is 2, so that's 4. And I can give how many carks to myself?
As many as you want.
I'll spend another two carks.
So
on
here's
that,
the
so
deal.
66.
It's hard to get most of them to skedaddle and the others to sit tight. But if you want to go for karking art of 4 successes, then the entire group will go. So basically, most of the troopers, like the troop transport, will take off if you get 3 successes. But if you get 4 successes, they'll even bring the speeder bikes as well.
Come on, 66. Okay.
So what are you shooting for? Because that
kark.
tension is involved, right?
Yeah. I know. So I am shooting for 4. So I'm rolling 76 to try and give myself slightly better than
better.
You know,
I'll toss in a kark, and I think this is I think Dwayne shouts a little bit at the retreating Cap and Murgo as they're like getting away, and I think this is a distraction where the troopers think that they might need to go after that group.
Okay, cool. So that's 8 karks for you.
Okay, let's see me roll 8 ones and get immediately taken out of the session.
Not the whole session. Until you get refreshed.
Okay.
Just 1-1.
Just 1-1, but only 3 successes.
Okay, so 1-1 means that there's a long moment of tension. I think it's the kind of thing where it gets to you a little bit, right? So I feel like where you'd lose a kark, you feel a little out alone, and
I think I lose a kark from one of them striking me, right? Like
that seems like better. I'm into it.
Yeah, and just like taking it.
Nice. One of them comes up and kind of cuffs you with their blaster rifle, and the sergeant or whatever he is.
All right. Well, listen. You're getting in the troop transport with us, Talls. You're directing it exactly where we can find this human. Near a kark.
Near a kark. I'll take you. Straight to backside out.
Now you got 3 successes, which means that they're leaving the speeder bikes behind, but they're taking the troop transport with you on it. Because you got 3 successes, they're not putting you in binders, but you're not on your speeder bike.
Well, I think that this is clearly like as the towns peer out from the thing, right? It's like just the towels and then that hatch, like the eyes, those multi layers of eyes, right? Like staring back.
Oh yeah.
Making eye contact with Clutch perhaps over the thing as the hatch goes. Shh.
Perfect.
And like
so,
it's what you do for your gang, though, isn't it? You fall on your sword.
That's a good little enforcer.
He's made a break for us, lads.
Cool. So, Clutch, Wild Thing has been taken away in custody. We'll say that you guys were able to at least hear enough of the conversation to know how Wild Thing threw them off course.
Yeah, I'll turn to the rest of the remaining crew and say, those speeder bikes are still there, and I think we need to let's take them on a merry chase. What do you say, gang? Let's get them away from the civilians in the area. I don't want any Imperials down here at all. Definitely don't want them snooping around our hideout. So should we make a run for it and get them to follow us?
Yeah, how many should I take out, boss?
I think let's try and lose them. Let's get them to chase us, and we'll lose them in the undersea. That's our ground. We own this place down here.
So
let's
what about Wild Thing?
Spin them out.
What about Wild Thing? How are we going to back him up?
Once we've lost them, we can spin round and find that transport. Maybe as we go out, we can put some kind of tracker on it, or maybe Wild Thing's got a tracker. Yeah, maybe Will's got up. Maybe Wild Thing's got a tracker. But yeah, let's deal with these guys first, and then we can. He's provided a good distraction here. We've broken up the main force into 2 usable chunks. Let's see what we can do with these. Get rid of these speeder bike guys, and then we'll concentrate on the transport. Sounds good.
Are you pulling everybody, at least all the PCs here, other than Wild Thing, into this?
Yeah. Hopefully, the pledges. Hopefully, they've left with the VP and the president. I'm sort of imagine that scene from Empire Strikes Back where they're throwing, getting off Hoth. So yeah, that's us sort of ejecting the president and his crew. And it's just sort of us left in the base now. So if they've taken Wild Thing off in that transport, scout speeder bikers, they're speeder bikers. They can't equal the speed of a swoop bike. Swoop bikes are for real riders. Let's show it to them. Come on, crew.
I love it. That sounds dangerous. Cool. Crusher, they're after you. And Clutch, that. Are you telling Crusher to lay low? Or do you, because she would be a real fine distraction. However, she also, if they radio back, oh, well, we saw the person we're after, then it means it might ruin what Wild Thing had done. So how do you handle that, Clutch?
Yeah, it might take more than putting on a wig for this one, boss.
Do you want to lay low here?
Maybe Crusher could follow, without being seen, Wild Thing, so the Crusher can actually be wherever Wild Thing says she's going to be.
You could pull us. You can pull them to that transport. You can let us know later exactly where it is while we deal with those speeder bikes.
Oh, that's cool.
Kids bikes. That's what speeder bikes are. Kids bikes.
That's cool. So then Crusher, you'll sneak out, and your plan is to tail the troop transport to be Wild Thing's backup, and also to, be the distraction if needed. I like that. That's a good plan.
Yeah. So I figure the rest of you try to pull the speeder bikes away first, and then I go after the troop transport, which should be easy to find. So they don't go after me first.
Sounds good. Good plan, Crusher.
Cool. All right.
It's your plan, boss.
I think that drawing some speeder bikes away, some scout troopers on Imperial speeder bikes away, 4 of them, and it looks like with Wild Thing and Crusher out of it, there's 3 of you. Clutch, Dwang, and Twang. That's great. I think this is going to be tension involved, because they just might shoot blasters at you after they yell at you to stop and you don't. I think while they may be kids' bikes, I'm going to call this a group effort, so one person can lead it. And I'm going to say it's going to be karking hard. So one person's leading it, and anybody can throw a kark their way for the role.
I'll definitely throw in a kark. Just, I figure I can maybe cause some distraction, just make some noise somewhere in the scrapyard to draw the attention of the scouts, and then they see the others speeding away, so they're a bit they're not sure who they are and where they go.
I like it.
So, Clutch, who do you think should be the main? Do you want to roll it? What about you, Twang? Do you want to roll it?
Roll it.
Yeah, I mean, any of us three can do it. So, I'm more than happy. I've just got sort of this image of this great scene of going through sort of small pipes, barrel rolling bikes, kicking Imperials off bikes so that they smash into things. That's what I'm envisaging seeing, this sort of high-speed chase, nice blurry background as we zoom through the Undercity, sort of kicking, shooting, spinning these guys out, hopefully not doing a Sebulba and spinning out ourselves.
So, boss, you want us to get them out? So Dwang, actually, as he heads out on his swoop bike, it's this loud, smoky thing, and he pulls out a couple of, they look like thermal grenades. And as he swoops by, he tosses them out, and they hit nearby the troopers, and then pop, but they don't explode. They just spray paint all over them. So basically, these troopers now have like this blue and pink paint that's kind of smeared all over them and their bikes. They're nice, white, pristine bikes. So
that's when I sort of like, hell for leather, straight out the door. Crusher's provided that that distraction. I think the door comes down really quickly and, full speed, straight past them. Yeah, as they're covered in paint, they sort of swing round, and then we've got this chase. Let's see, should go well.
Nice. Okay. So Twang's doing the roll. We already know what Dwang and Clutch and Crusher are doing. So it looks like 3 extra karks to you, Twang. Definitely being badass, riding your hog. So that is 6 to start, 3 karks added to it. Any of your expertises feel like you're going to bring them in here?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Do you want to spin any karks of your own? You're up to 9 dice. Difficulty is a 4.
I'll spend 1.
Good roll. No ones.
I needed that last one, and no ones.
Needed that last one for sure. Oh, look at that. That is exactly what you needed. No more, no less, but no ones. That is beautiful. You guys zip up one of the I love the idea of you guys heading up this like sets of pipes and maybe split off at some point and then double back in again. And these scout troopers can't keep up with you. One of them gets covered in paint, and I think he like bails, right? Because he thought it was going to be a grenade. And another one got sprayed with some of the paint from Dwang's paint grenade. And of course, we have to have the one speeder biker who like crashes into a joint in one of the pipes. And eventually you guys have come up to lower terrace, and you have no speeder bikes behind you. You have given them the slip. We cut to Wild Thing. Wild Thing, you are surrounded by troopers. These guys, they have guns on you. Most of them are terrified of you. You can smell it on them, right? You can sense that fear, and that fear is dangerous, right? You can make them jump back, but they all have guns, and they think, oh yeah, if we shoot this guy, then he won't eat us. Not that towels could. Like, how would you like?
No. Well, I mean, exactly, right? Like, but these are Imperials, so they would know better. I think Wild Thing's just like, So what did she do? I deserve all this.
I think there's a moment where the troopers, a couple of the troopers, look at each other. And the sergeant moves away, and he's making a call and like reporting confidently. Yeah, we have an informant who's leading us directly to Nira Krieg. And then a few of the stormtroopers, you asked, like, what did she do? And one of them says,
well, we saw the recording. She busted her way out of a Karking Terrestrial Authority Detention Center. Stupid cops.
I hear Becks have all kinds of terrestrial authority on their payroll. Crooked, not like Imperials.
Well, every one of these guys are on the take. You can't trust anybody on Terrace.
Agreed. Definitely can't trust anyone on Terrace. That's why I stay below.
You stay below because you're a giant fuzzball.
One of the other stormtroopers kind of chuckles.
Yeah, I think Wild Thing chuckles at that as well. You know,
Nice.
Yeah.
Gratiating yourself well to these terrible individuals.
I don't know if it's worthy of a role, but I am basically just trying to point these guys at tearing up the hidden backs and confronting them, right? Because the hidden backs may have what I said was true.
Mm-hmm.
They do have corrupt cops on the payroll, right? So I'm just wondering if this feels like a need to do another draw roll to sort of like strengthen the associate. You know what I mean? Because they may know that the terrestrials are corrupt and etc. Right? And just strengthen it to give them more of a kind of like backs. You know, we're above your poodoo credits. You know, like you can't buy an Imperial officer kind of thing. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's see if you can convince these troopers that, yeah, the Becks are more trouble than they're worth, and to associate Crusher with the Becks, which that wasn't part of what they were told.
But I'll even go up on Crusher's thing and I'll say, yeah, Crusher and leader of Becks, Spoolie, both had something going on with one of the cops there. I guess cop must have asked for more money. All went south.
That's pretty good.
Always
Tension
be
involved,
playing Cartel.
right? This very feels very tension related. So we'll call this hard.
Okay. Which is 3. But am I being tension is involved? But I think I'm being cool here more
I
than
think
I'm
you
being
are trying to
badass,
keep it cool.
because
You're
it's-
keeping it cool and you're sliding in the lie. You're not being aggressive. I think cool definitely is the thing here.
Yeah. No, throw in another card because it's the last session. And if I run out of cards, I can go out in a blaze of glory.
Oh, goodness. You certainly could. This could be a Pyrrhic victory with these dice.
Mm-hmm.
They've been too good to you guys so far. Come on, once. 12%
So,
chance.
6 dice. Ooh, well, sweet. I really absolutely smash it. I do get another 1, though.
Yeah, you get 1-1. So I don't think it's another cuff. Like, this seems too...
No, I think it's one of the guys, one of the other troopers, like pushes me back, right, and slams me against the thing with his gun, like pushed in my face, and then the one that I've been talking to pushes his barrel down and says, like, that story checks out.
Nice.
I
like that. Story checks out. So I'm about to take our first break, but where is it that where do you imagine Wild Thing leads them on this merry chase?
Straight to the hidden backs.
Oh, sweet. Okay, straight to the
hidden backs. Yeah. I mean, like, if they're about to tear up our hideout, now they're about to tear out the hidden backs hideout instead.
That's great. Crusher, you'll get to witness as this troop transport with no speeder bikes as their escort will be heading right along, and they're in middle terrace. So you guys go up from lower and you head to middle, and they pull right up to the area that the hidden backs call home. And I'm going to ask when we come back from break what exactly that is, if it's some kind of bar or if it's like a motorcycle club or a swoop bike club, what that is. So we'll ask that of Crusher when we get back. It is our first break. So now we come to the point where we see the troop transport sidling up to wherever it is that the Hidden Becks call their club, hangout, whatever. So Crusher, what is it? The Hidden Becks who are out and open as a swoop bike and beloved by the people here in Middle Terrace. What's their hangout or their club like? And if you want to ask for suggestions from others, that's totally cool too.
I think at least part of it is that they're running a garage that's kind of, I mean, they do some
they do
charity
custom
work
swoop
there.
bike jobs. They're like Orange County choppers or kind of deal.
Yeah, they do that, and then they do some. Occasionally, they will have like an open day when anyone can bring their old vehicles and they fix them up for free and that sort of thing.
Man.
So,
And they record it too, right? Like if there's a little reality show going on, the Beck's custom bikes shop. Oh, that's so, I hate them. If you guys don't mind, I love that. That's so great. Like huge, bright, clean as a whistle garage, everything on the up and up. And Wild Thing, you lead them right there. And of course, they rough you up a little bit. It's not pleasant, but you suck it up. You know what your end goal is here. And they've bought in. Like you succeeded at that. That was. You succeeded at least pointing them at the Becks. They're going to go in there. What do they care? Like, it's just as the sergeant says, what's one bunch of scum for the other? And so they come in, and as they arrive, very quickly, you see that I think Kuna Scribs comes out, like holding his hands up, and he's trying to intercede and like talk to the stormtroopers, and they just keep piling out. Like this is 20 troopers, right? They're coming out the back, they're coming out the side door, and they take old man Scribs, and they slam him against the troop transport.
As he slams Scribs against it, I step forward and I say, "This one old, this one not what you want. This one, with me, basically, like, that he's just like, he just kitchen slave for Bex. He stay out of way. I keep hold of him so you can get to danger."
And the sergeant, he's not, he'll leave. He has one guy peel off. He tells 412 to stay here and keep the two of you covered. And then they start heading into the garage.
And as Kuna, is probably like sputtering stuff, right? I'll lean in close and I'll say, I know who killed your old president.
And Kuna was good friends with that guy. And he stares at you and he says, "You bring the troopers to my house and you want to tell me that?"
I bring troopers back to who sent them, and they're one and the same person, Kuna.
Spits. He doesn't spit at you, but he spits at the ground. "We don't deal with imps. I'm lying."
Tell Bully that. In the meantime, tell Bully. Ask Bully what happened to her father. Paid a visit from Kiana. But I know you and Cavan wouldn't have anything to do with that, right?
He just holds his tongue. He is like, "I'm not going to have a conversation with you about this."
Yeah, it was always easier when we thought Beck stood for something. Now we know.
And you see his jaw just flexes. He is biting his tongue. He really is pissed about this.
Just ask Vilo.
You know he will. He's not going to give you the time of day right now, but you know he's going to.
I mean, all they wanted to do was not have the one person that we wanted to exploit here get grabbed by the Imperials, and seemed like a good place to start seeding those things.
Sweet.
Yeah, but
So-
yeah, otherwise I'm just like keeping an eye on him so he doesn't get shot or something, you know.
Protecting Kuna, even though he doesn't realize that's what you're doing.
Yeah, we need Kuna because the imps probably aren't going to actually get rid of the decks. This is just turning their weapon back on them, and then we've still got to crack them apart.
Yeah, we talked to, I saw there was a little bit of chatter in the chat about, and there was a talk open before break that Crusher was going to add to the mystique of Crusher being part of the hidden decks by escaping the garage. Did you want to pull that off, Crusher? It's pretty easy. Their troop transport is not going to reach your speeds. You can basically just bail out of there if you want to do that. Or is there something else?
Yeah, I think that at least going to add to the confusion, which should be to our advantage at this point. So yeah.
I think the best time to do that though would be after they've ransacked the base and they come back out and they go like up to me, right? And they're she's not anywhere. And then I go, what do you mean? She's getting away.
That's so cinematic. It's perfect. That's great. That's great. Yeah, they do. They come back, and one of them like shoves a gun in your face and says, "You lied, you stupid fuzzball. She's not in there."
I not lie. She simply go out back and point to the Swoop bike.
Yeah. And they turn, and like all the stormtroopers turn and look and see Crusher zipping away, and the sergeant runs in. He's immediately calling on the comms that it's up in Middle Terrace. She's at this particular area, and at this point, I think the sergeant's gonna come out, and he gets right in your face, Wild Thing, and he says, "Well, you've done your good deed for the month, Towels.
Always happy to serve the Empire."
Yeah. Service with a chain around your neck. Let the Towels go. Let this old man go too.
So they cuff any other kind of service in the Empire.
They cuff Scribs, and he mouths off to him a little bit, but they don't shoot him. And then the troop transport takes off, leaving you behind right there at the front step of the hidden Beck's garage. And I think Kuna says, "You ought to go."
I throw him a comlink. I just say,
"Catch you saying."
Thanks, Kuna. I couldn't have done this without all of you.
You're a sneaky so-and-so.
Just walk off with, a jaunty step, basically. And yeah, I'm happy with how that turned out. As I watched the troop transport swoop after Crusher in the distance.
And Kuda, you see him, he like calls his son over, and the two of them are talking as they're heading back into the garage. And as you're walking away with a jaunty step up on the second story of the garage, we see that Kiana 88 and Vilo are both watching you from their ransacked office. Like stamps, they caused a lot of trouble. They broke a lot of stuff. Let's cut back down to Clutch. You're down in Lower Terrace. You, Twang, and Dwang were able to take care of those speeder bikes, bringing a bit of peace back to the Undercity. What do you want to do, Clutch?
I'll try and contact Wild Thing and Crusher, sort of like find out their locations. Are you sort of speeding at a high speed, Crusher, away from this troop transport?
I think I'm trying not to get too much attention, so I'm probably I mean, it's not hard to go faster than the troop transport, so I don't have to hightail it. I can just mostly stay with like within normal speeds, but I do a lot of doubling back and that sort of thing to make sure they can't just follow me.
Is there a role involved in Crusher's lose the Imperials?
I think there should be. I think there really should be. Because maybe it's a thing where you think you're getting away, but they've got eyes on you that you didn't see, right? So I would think it's going to be hard.
I mean, there's always, as you said before, there's always more Imperials, right?
There's always more Imperials. You're in Middle Terrace, so it's not like you're down at Undercity. Undercity, it'd be pretty easy to lose them. Mm-hmm. So luckily, Crusher, you're up here hanging out with your friends all the time. So you know Middle Terrace probably better than most of the rest of the gang. So that's why it's just hard. And I think there's some tension involved here, right? You've got the advantage, so it's only hard. But yeah.
Yeah, and I think I was probably wearing my cut at the club, so I might draw some attention from that.
That's true.
I suspect. So let's see. I think I'm being cool. It's not
I'm okay with
like
that.
A high-speed chase
so.
or anything. And it's got to be a hog, right?
Getting on your hog and riding.
Yeah. So that's 6 dice. I don't think any of my expertises apply. I'll just roll it straight up.
All right.
Yep. Oh, 2 1s, but the other 4 are hit. So
okay, that's delightful. So that is a full success, but I think there's a point where you're zipping by feeling like you got rid of them, and a trooper takes a shot at you, right? There's a couple of shots that glance by and stings off of your speeder bike, and maybe one of them hits your cut and burns it, singes it a little bit. Not enough to leave permanent damage, but it's not great.
Yeah. And after that, I think I just try to find a good spot to get down to the lower city again, or Undercity, right?
Yeah. You want to get back down to Undercity, and as you're heading down to Undercity, you get a call from your friend Denise. Hey, is everything okay, Nira?
Mostly. Why?
Well, I'm not sure what's going on, but they let Lildis go.
They let who go?
Lildis, the friend that was arrested to try to draw you in.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, good. Good.
Yeah, but she didn't post bail. It just feels weird.
Yeah, I don't think they had any. I don't think she had done anything. It was probably a mistake.
Okay. Listen, after everything, we lost our venue, and I don't know how we're going to make this work. The wedding. I guess I'm going to have to call it off.
No, you don't need to do that. We can fix this. I mean, we have a chaplain. My friend is a chaplain.
Oh. Okay. Well, tell me what you need me to do.
Just let me check in and with my friend, with my other friends, and see if we can set things up.
Okay, I'll keep my comm unit with me and on. Just let me know.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be in touch.
Thanks. It means a lot, Nir.
Sure. I mean, we're friends, right? Gotta look out for each other.
Of course. You're just always looking out for me. I gotta return the favor someday. I owe you a lot. Too much.
I'm sure we can. Don't think about that. Well, just I gotta go now. There's traffic.
Okay. Be careful. May the force be with you.
Yeah, yeah, sure. You too.
Awesome. Then do we want to jump to a group scene? You guys gather back together. Maybe you're at Sunny's getting some food. You see that at Sunny's, even though they were only there for a brief period, you can see that there's a mirror behind or up on one of the walls, and it's been cracked, and there are a few chairs that are broken that they had to pull away to try to repair later. Some people got roughed up. The imps always leave a mark.
Well, I mean, when we cut to there, I am fixing some of those broken chairs, and
Nice.
it's not a mirror, right? It's a Star Wars thing, so it's it looks like a mirror, but it's actually a piece of technology that projects
Sure.
a thing back, and I'm splicing together the wires and things to make it.
God forbid we have an actual mirror. Would we?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Everything
You're right.
has to be stupidly technological, even though it could easily be
A long
just
time
practical
ago,
thing.
we had no mundane items.
Yeah. And I'm hoping to get a cart back for that.
I think you should. Actually, if we look at our refresh rules, I think you get to potentially get more than that. So hold on just a moment as I page down into the document. And it pauses because it's a Google Doc and it takes a little while to load. Come on.
I'll admit you've put so much of the rules in the character keeper. I've barely looked at the actual document.
I know. That's what's up with me. I'm like, crap. I have to actually double check this. Come on. Sorry. I just want to make sure we're charity work. That's what you're doing. Sweet. So charity work is cool plus heart. And is you just roll cool plus heart. It's normal difficulty. Tension's not involved. And if you succeed, then roll a d6, and that's how many cards you get back.
Cool. I just scraped a normal difficulty.
Woof. You did. All right, roll a single d6, and you get that many cards back.
Oh. Wow.
Oh, well, that's a d6 plus 3, though.
Oh, damn it. So it's a 3. Yeah, sorry. I forgot to remove my modifier from the original thing. Okay, so 3. Nice. And obviously I've conveyed to my road captain that I put the feelers out with Kuna Scribs, and that the imps should be off our backs for now. But it's all about the backs.
Yeah. I think with Cap and Murgo sort of in hiding still, this is our action now to take. Let's do something about the hidden Becks. Somehow expose this connection with the Vulcans. What do you guys say?
I think real leader of Zidhounds is right here. And I look at Clutch.
We'll see about that.
Don't we have recordings from Velo where they were discussing all of that? Is this where we burn Velo and basically do we go public, or do we just hand this over to Kuna?
I think they're beloved of the people. So I think we need to maybe get this into some sort of like a distribution system, some media distribution, some dish.
Think we need to
some
sit
upload
down.
Site maybe.
I think we need to sit down with Vida. Show him.
VP of the Vulcans.
Yes. Kavan and, well, not with Vidar, sorry, I'm one left to the left of the character key. I just saw the first name there. With Kavan and Vidar. You know? Break those gangs. We're supposed to be at war with them, right? We raided their spice house, but Kavan doesn't know that Kiana, we take away their allies. We make it public. They say it doctored. They say it anything. We show them this, and we show them the feed of Velo's live feed. They know it real. And then we split Vulcan back. And now we've got the numbers, and they've got nothing.
But do you not think putting it public, whether or not they think it's doctored, that would really, the public opinion of the Becks would really take a tanking?
Can always do that afterwards. I just think...
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Man with ego like Kavan probably not take it kindly.
That's a damn good plan. Yeah, we'll later on we'll release that public just to smear the hidden Becks, wipe that smile off their faces as it needs. But yeah, let's get that wedge between the two of them. So yeah, we really want a sit down. I think that is actually the gangster term, isn't it? A sit down with Kavan and Vidar. What do the rest of you guys say? Sounds like a plan? It's a plan.
All right. So how do you set this up, Clutch? Like, do you think the Black Vulkers and the Zidhounds have ever had a sit down? Like, is there a neutral space where you guys meet, or are you going to go into their den? What do you think?
I think we could be prepared to. I'd like to meet on their turf, but we're really up in the risk. The risk a hell of a lot there. Let's go for an open area. So yeah, something on the.
We could meet at like Hodgers or something, because no one's gonna start something there and get him pissed off at you.
That's a good call. Although I'm always suspicious of a hut. Looking in on our business, but you're right. That's a really good neutral ground. You shouldn't have weapons up there.
Nice.
I like it. That's cool.
Sweet. So we cut like a quick star wipe, and the five of you are walking into Hajur's dueling ring in Upper City. You see Hajur floating above. Wild thing. Your four eyes catch Oleander as she's looking down from the raised dais, watching you as you come in. Twang, you hear the music of Xanth, and it's okay. It's just Sim. Everybody else seems to like it, but Twang, there's a couple notes that are missing. There's it's just not good enough, man. Especially when she's playing by herself. I mean, technically by herself, she still has, drum corps and singer and everything going on, but it's really about the Xantha. And yeah. So Clutch, you leading the pack, as it were, see that you've just called to meet with Kavan and Vidar, right?
Yeah. But I would expect them to turn up, of course, maybe with a few more of their crew. Yeah. They've been on it a long time, that they know the score.
Mm-hmm. Bax is there, the Radataki, who's their sergeant of arms. And you guys see that Heral is there, their enforcer, the person who Oleander was trying to motivate to help her get free, and things didn't go the way she'd planned. She'd bitten off more than she could chew, according to Arani Argan. And Ronnie Argent's there as well. She's in like a VIP box, watching things. Maybe she's got a pair of those little monoculars, but they're tiny ones on a little stick, so she could watch things from her area, like someone at an opera house. And yeah, you guys, maybe you grab like one of those. I don't know. Oh, I like the idea of like a booth, right? You're staring across each other. Clutch, do you go to the booth they've designated, or are they going to come sit across from you? What do you think?
Oh, could it be like a floating booth, like in the Coruscant, where those those discs that people
like the Galactic Senate type deals? Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Big. So we'll all sort of climb on board, and then it will sort of float out. So that's how it provides that sort of protection of both parties. Once we're out and floating, it's just us guys.
So you got to tell me it's going to be Cavan and Vidar. Clutch, who's your second? Who do you have sitting by you? Tough call. I know.
You fancy it, Crusher?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a it's a shame that there's only two of us there. I really would like the crew, but yeah, you're right. These discs aren't that big. What I will do though, I'll definitely have the rest of the crew come LinkedIn, so they can hear what's going on, and say things to me, because I am expecting maybe a bit of action. So the guys will definitely, want to be able to say something through the link.
Cool. And you're pretty sure that Cavan probably is on an open comm with his people too. In fact, wild thing, you see Bax, the Ratataki, at one point, she kind of reaches up and pushes something a little deeper into her ear. And Twang and Dwang, the two of you notice that, first of all, Smiley, the Black Suns duelist, she's down there doing some like target shooting type stuff to warm up, entertain the crowd. And you see that Elisar, Targon, and Arianya, the Umbaran, the two of them are here. So there's a bit of Black Sun presence. Elisar and Arianya are, I don't think they're in a floating disc. They're just kind of moving around the crowd a little bit. Two of them work together. Anya is obviously like sentry duty, but Elisar is here to socialize. She's cutting deals. She's keeping in contact with people.
I'll welcome Cavan and Vidar and say, we've come by some quite startling information.
Yeah. What's that?
I think you guys need to see it. And I'll put one of those little hollow disc projector things in the middle of the table. And on my compad, I'll activate play in that sort of like Princess Leia sort of style. The little figure appears, and it is that scene that Velo was seeing with Boulay and the others. And yeah, I'd like it to play through sort of that scene. And try and gauge Cavan and Vidar's reaction.
And just so I'm clear, you're showing them when Kiana basically said, "Hey, you got your dad murdered," kind of deal, right? That's the scene. And Cavan is, at first, he's like watching. You can tell he's trying to figure out, okay, where is this coming from? And it's just a few moments before Vidar leans in and whispers into his ear, it's got to be Velo. And they've figured it out, right? They know where this footage came from. It's kind of, that POV thing. They figured it out. But then Cavan starts to say something, but Vidar stops him. And that's when Kiana pretty much fingers Booley for killing her own father and mocks her about it. Like, hey, this is the thing I've got over you. And Cavan's,
I think she also threatened to kill the uncle as well in this conversation.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course she did. Kevin's a little not so much worried about an assassin threatening to kill somebody. It's more like this. She killed my brother, and he.
She's bad to the bone, Caven. She's bad to the bone. She's bringing Swoop Gangs a bad name, and she's definitely, ruining what you'd spent so long building up for the Becks. It's got to stop.
Looks over at Vidar. I got to check this out. I got to make sure this isn't some kind of setup. I'm taking this.
So I have a question. Clutch, how about if we flash back to how our plans were about how to convince them? And now you send the recording to Booley with a live feed from Velo showing her reaction to being recorded and saying that stuff. And that live reaction with Booley there on the screen in front of Cavan might convince them.
Sounds like an awesome idea. So so basically, so he'll know that it's definitely sort of live, and we can see her reaction to knowing that basically we've got info on her.
Wow. This is insane. So just so I have it clear and I'm picturing it, it's not insane. It's actually really clever, but it's blowing my mind anyway. So you guys you've somehow sent the video that you're showing, like a copy of this holo, and then had Velo recording. And this is kind of, you've timed it so that Booley is watching the video now.
Yeah.
And how about we just send the audio?
Oh, we play the audio through Velo's speakers or something, right? And it just...
if we play it through Velo, they'll know not to say anything in front of Velo. So we send the audio directly that implicates her, Booley, and then record the reaction through Velo.
Yeah, I am worried about. I did say that we wouldn't have control of Velo. It wasn't a full hack, so I'd much prefer to sort of see the. I don't really want to sort of.
We just send it over the HoloNet to.
We'll send it over the HoloNet, but I am sort of worried deep down that something could happen to Velo here. This could be pretty bad for him. So
hey, he knows about this whole scheme. He was the one who recorded it.
Luckily he's a droid. Hopefully he can be repaired later on. And brought back if she does something to Velo. He's been around for a long time. It's definitely wrong if she terminates him. So let's see how that plays out. That's a damn good plan.
Cool. So then Kevin says, I'm taking this, and he reaches for the holo, and then that's when you bring up the other projector that's the live feed of Velo.
Yeah, so my hand will go on his hand as he sort of touches the holoplate, and I'll say, see this. This will prove,
and cut over to the live feed, and maybe there's even the VHS thing of the tracking of it's this so and so time. This is live. This is real, and we all buy into it, even though of course that could be fake. But everything could be fake. So at some point you have to believe something. And Vidar says, "You." Heck, Velo, he's basically a walking antenna for them. And Kevin doesn't seem quite as happy about that. And that's when you, through the video, watch as Booley listens to her and Kiana's conversation. And Booley says, What the kark is this? And she looks up at Kiana, and Kiana says, I'm clean. I'm just as in this as you. And then they both turn and they look at Velo. And you see Bully pull up a blaster pistol, like quick, just as fast as she did when she shot at you, Crusher. And she and Cavan. Okay.
See, that adds to it, Cavan. She's
Yeah.
bloodthirsty. That's not the way Swoop Gangs work. We've got to deal with her.
No, we don't deal with her. You gave me what I needed to do the right thing. I'll handle this. You don't come after my niece.
Sure you can handle it? Do you need backup?
And I think at that point, he reaches across for your throat at that point. Crusher, what do you do when you see Cavan, who's like on edge, out of nowhere, usually relatively professional, just loses it and grabs Clutch by the throat. What do you do, Crusher?
Hey. No need for that. I mean, we understand it's family. You got to deal with it yourself. It's just, if you need something, you know where to find us.
Vidar reaches up and gently grabs Cavan's hand. It's not like, it's intimate in a way, even though there's this violence thread at the edge. And he's, come on. He's just trying to get you. He's just trying to get to you. We'll take care of this. And if we need backup, we'll reach out.
Sounds good.
Come on.
Fine. We'll give you first shot to sort this out. We'll leave it to you. But sort it out, it needs to be.
Cavan hits a couple buttons to have the disc kind of float down to one of the levels, and he's getting out of here. Like, he's not goofing around anymore. He's getting out of here. He does a quick whistle, backs, grabs Hero. They start to head out behind him, kind of filing in behind him. And I think after Cavan exits, there's a moment where Vidar stops and he looks at the two of you. I know this comes out to your benefit, but I appreciate you giving us this information anyway.
Swoop Gangs forever.
Sad day for the Becks. And then he leaves. And they're out of there. So we'll cut back to Wild Thing, Dwang, and Twang. Dwang, what have you been up to at the dueling ring while all this is happening?
Oh, I think I'm shouting. You said Smiley was down there, practicing and everything. And I think I'm leaning over, watching and like shouting and probably even throwing stuff down there. And I think I throw like a glass or a can or something down there and she shoots it out of the air.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. What about Twang? What do we see Twang up to during this intense exchange? Are you wholly focused on what's going on with Clutch and Crusher, or distracted by the discordant Xantha music?
Yeah, I think mostly, watching the conversation in the platform, and then just the occasional little cringe when a note gets missed or
and you realize, Twang, that the rest of the band has found ways to cover for Sim's play. There'll be a point where she doesn't hit quite a note, but then there's a strum of string instrument that covers over it, or the drummer will hit some cymbals that kind of slash in, like he's, I just got excited and hit this cymbal thing. And it's bad. They are working hard to make up for her inadequacies. Cool. So Wild Thing, what do you do?
I think Wild Thing is just, in the background of the shots, I think watching and talking and just quietly sitting with Oleander, you know, and I think maybe she gets called away by the hut by Hadger at some point. And you just see, like, you know, the edge of the table, like the metal just like crushed in slightly where his hands clenched around it and pulled off some of the thing, and then just shoulders his way out of the club as we leave, you know, like clearly pissed off and not trusting himself to be around Hadjur and Oleander.
Nice. And I think the relationship you have with her is that even if she did want out, she's never going to ask you because she knows you bring hell down doing it.
Yeah, well, you know, how could I keep her any safer when I run with this group of outlaws? You know,
that's true.
One outlaw life for another, and one of them's not so pretty, right? Like,
so true.
There's clearly some cowboy, some not, you know, like soulful, angsty rock and roll music playing in the whole scene.
Love it. Cool. Do you guys have anything more you wanted to do in the dueling ring?
No, for me, that was a great scene.
Yeah, I'm into it. Cool. So let's pick up. Just pick up, maybe back down. Do we want to jump back down to Undercity?
So we've turned the Vulcans and the Becks. We've played that hand now, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Becks still remain on the board. They're still trying to split the Becks, you know, like reform them or whatever, right? With the true Becks versus the ones who side with this usurper. But is there anything else that we have on our like kind of shit
to-do
list?
list?
Yeah.
Well, we could try and... There's Kuna scribs and Gar scribs. I mean, any chance we could turn them? Do you think?
Well, Kuna's already got a com. I feel like it's building towards some sort of confrontation, like civil war in the Becks and kind of big, you know, like maybe there's got to be some sort of like public, you know, like a Swoop Gang trial or something, right? Or like she demands like her right to defend herself in a swoop race or something, right? Like Swoop Gang v Swoop Gang or something, and you know what I mean? Like I'm just wondering what do we want to do with the last hour kind of thing, and like I wish it definitely be something dramatic as hell. I think like
a gladiator pit kind of thing.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Okay. Things that are on the table. We have the wedding. I think that would be a fun scene that I'd like to see happen. I'd like to see our chaplain and you guys, the Zid Hounds, like come together to help out Anise in her time of need. We do have the confrontation, and while like on one hand, Cavan would probably want to take care of Booley quietly. On the other hand, that's not Star Wars either. That's not super exciting or sexy, and it also means it's out of your hands, and I find that less appealing. So while there's a part of me that says, well, he definitely isn't going to like bring them in on it, the other hand of like, but how fun is that? So
I mean, he can maybe intend to do something and it go horribly sideways for him.
It certainly could. And I believe that Booley is the type of person that will plan for these eventualities. So while Cavan's trying to do the right thing, it's doubtful that she's going to let that play out the way he intends. So yeah, how about we go forward with the wedding? Because like from a PC perspective, you agreed you're going to let Cavan deal with this. And so does that sound okay?
And obviously, just as a suggestion, but perhaps whatever happens between Cameron and Bully is why Kuna rings us on the comm.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just to. But yeah, wedding in our Sunday best.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take our second 5-minute break. It's a little bit early, but I feel like this is the perfect commercial break. Don't think of it as an assignment. What is it that you wear to this impromptu wedding? And I'm going to leave it to Dwayne. Dwayne, where is it taking place? So each of you think about, like, do you just wear your normal cut and look rough and ready, or are you going a Sunday best type idea? And we'll see you guys in a few minutes. All right. When we return from commercial break for our wonderful series, we see that things are a little festive. This is the time for a union. Dwayne, where is this taking place? Where was it decided that this little union, this wedding would happen?
So we talked about it a little bit, and we decided, middle city and upper city are too hot. So it needs to happen in the undercity where we are, where we know there's more control, and the imps probably aren't going to come down here and bother us anyway for something as simple as a wedding. And I think this is actually an outdoor wedding. It's
Nice.
out in front of Sonny's, like in the street, and it's sort of like a parade. All the whole community has kind of come out, and they're celebrating this wedding and all that. I think Sonny's is catering. Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's fun. You guys are making a big deal out of it, like tables out and food, and smells of food are in the air. Twang, are you playing music for this?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I'm the officiant and the band for the wedding.
Pull a double duty. I love that. So you gotta play, then you gotta take off this anthem and go up, and that's great. I mean, Crusher, just because of the everything being extra, I imagine that Crusher's like the bridesmaid, right?
Sure.
Cool. And it's a small affair. We'll just keep it tight to characters introduced. So it's Lildis and you. And since we had teased the idea of it, let's go ahead and go with the groom being Gar Scribs, son of Kuna, member of the Hidden Becks. And that means that Kuna's there, right? But oddly enough, the rest of the Hidden Becks are not. And the Xantha music is pleasant, and all the people have come out. Why not? Everybody likes the celebration. So it's a lot more people than expected. And then Niece is like, are you sure that I don't know if we can afford all of this food? I mean, Mira, I'm just a little worried about this.
Oh no, don't worry about it. It's a community thing.
I'd never do anything like this in lower terrace. Then maybe there's a music, and it's a civil union, so we don't have all Christian trappings in the union. But what is Twang as the chaplain? What is it that she speaks about? You don't have to like extemporaneously do anything, but I'm just curious, like, what is important for Twang to impress upon these two young folks as they enter into a union that should last a lifetime?
In having this formal ceremony, the two of them can be together without this. This ceremony is about making their joining something that is part of the community, their family, bringing them all together. Yeah.
Nice.
And I think Twang is wearing her headband, like her blue headband with red flowers.
Mhm.
She had, and instead of wearing that, she's wearing like a ceremonial robe made out of the same material, much cleaner and fresher than her headband. And then a headdress made out of like a Zidhound skull,
Cool.
painted up in bright colors.
That is awesome. Then let's go across to ask Clutch, what is it that you're wearing?
Yeah, I think I've still got my cut on, but yeah, it's like a brand new cut. So the denim is that sort of bright blue denim rather than the washed out sort of street version. Yeah, this is a brand spanking new cut. Yeah, I think that's the thing that sort of stands out, that it's more ceremonial wear rather than just standard day to day. This is a special occasion.
Nice.
I'd say he's got a new haircut, but he's bald as a coot. So
I've actually seen somebody got a commission done of their Duros character, and so it's up on Pinterest, and for some reason the person's wearing a mustache, like the Duros, blue Duros, and he has this like Western mustache. It's very hilarious. Yes, it's very funny. If I ever see the pic, I'll share it with you at some point, Paul, because it's definitely worth sharing. What about Wild Thing? How is Wild Thing dressed?
Well, I mean, Wild Thing can get a haircut.
Yes.
So Wild Thing has a haircut, and it's all combed and like neatly and slicked back and everything. And again, I think Paul has said what I was thinking, which was, it's like the dress club jacket kind of thing, and I think that Oleander is his guest to the wedding as well, right?
Like it. I like it. And what about Dwang?
So I think Dwang, is cleaned up, but isn't necessarily wearing anything especially nice. But he's made sure that each of the orphans from Khalil's place basically have come out, and they've got something dressed. They're dressed up, and they have a handful of confetti. And I think it's sort of like the scene that we see at the end of A New Hope, with everybody kind of lined up, just less militaristic, as the wedding party goes through the street, and they're throwing up confetti and everything like that, and getting a full belly with the food that's sitting around and all of that. Yeah.
Nice.
I think he's hanging out with the kids, kind of not roughhousing, but kind of making sure they have a good time.
Nice. So you're a kid patrol. That sounds fun. I love that. Dwang, for all of his rough and tumble, he gets along with the kids probably better than the adults. I think that's such a cool aspect of him. Cool. So the ceremony is relatively quick. There's music, there's some crying. Gar is very excited about this opportunity. I think his dad cries a little bit seeing his son entering into this union. He's a hard swoop bike ganger, but still, you only get to see this once. So then during the Twang, you announce this union to everybody, and there's a huge cheer that's lifted up by all the people of Undercity. And I think, Crusher, you had to wear a nice dress, like a frilly dress, because they didn't have. So do you wear your cut over top of the taffeta dress thing that you've been forced into?
Yeah, I think so. I was trying to picture this, but I think she has to wear the cut. Yeah. She's probably like tore off or cut off the arms of the dress, so it's like sleeveless, so she can get the jacket on over it, that sort of thing.
And there are probably a couple of moments during the the ceremony while Twang is talking, that Lil just looks over, and she's got these puff sleeves that you've ripped off to put on your cut, but she doesn't comment on it. And then music picks up again. I don't think they're gonna that Twang you'd have to play immediately, so maybe they probably get some music, or there's another band that's playing the reception, and food is plenty, and there's alcohol, some synth, but some actual legit alcohol. People brought bottles from their homes, right? And it's up on this table. Everybody's donated this. It's very much a potluck type of reception, and the whole community is pitched in together. And Sonny's is there people, extra people who are back in the kitchens cooking, and they're bringing out huge bowls of pasta and what meat that they can. It's a thing. Oh, wedding poem. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, I want to read this. Somebody should read this. That's so cool. Does somebody want to read the wedding poem? Or maybe we'll say that that's taking place during part of the reception. Nobody wants to read it. It's a big, heavy shaking now.
I can read it out.
Yes.
Just this is actually a wedding poem by Neil Gaiman, but it seemed tone appropriate for I think the wedding that Twang did. This for you, for both of you, a small poem of happiness filled with small glories and little triumphs, a fragile, short, cheerful song filled with hope and all sorts of futures. Because at weddings, we imagine the future, because it's all about what happened next. All the work and negotiation and building and talk that makes even the tiniest happily ever after something to be proud of for we forever. This is a small thought for both of you, like a feather or a prayer, a wish of trust and love and hope and fine brave hearts and true, like a tower or a house made all of bones and dreams and tomorrows and tomorrows and tomorrows.
You're on mute.
Thank you. There's a point during the reception where people are spending time together. I think Oleander asks you for a dance, Wild Thing.
Yeah. And yeah, definitely. Oleander and Wild Thing, dance, is it like, I think it's maybe like a formalish type dance or a slow dancey type thing, yeah. And again, I'm not really keen on hearing the dialogue here. Just all
sure.
Very kind of like, dramatically shot and everything.
Is there tension, or do you feel like the two of you have put that aside for this day?
Oh, I just think there's a lot of complications. And but it's more the tension's always more melancholy than anything else, right? And this is bittersweet still a little bit.
Nice. There's a moment, Clutch, where Murgo is out. He came to this, and Cap is chatting with like Cue Ball and Lurbla, and Murgo's moved over to just stand with you. Maybe he's reached over, grabbed a bottle, and he's nursing it a little bit, and he says, well, Clutch, it looks like you guys really pulled this off.
Yeah, it came together nicely at the end. Good for the community. How's it going with you, Murgo? How's the hands?
Flexes his fingers. It's odd, but it's better than the alternative.
We're going to see you back on a bike soon?
Listen, man, I think you and I know things are changing for the Zidhounds. The world's changing.
Yeah, that's true, Mergo. That's true.
We've been in a storm of poodoo. And you've been the road captain who rode the gang through it.
Doing my job, boss, doing my job. You know, what they did to you in that detention center, that was out of order. You know, but you held it together. You didn't sell us out. You know, we respect you for that.
Yeah.
But what are you saying then, boss?
I think my ride's done. That's what I'm saying. I think my ride's done.
Well, you went out in a blaze of glory, that's for sure. You know, what you did in that detention center, you know, holding out against the imps, that's going to get remembered. You know, but you're a Zid Hound for life. You know, yeah, you can hang up your cut, but you're always going to be welcome here. You know that, boss.
Glad to hear that. Listen, Clutch. You know I've got to make hard decisions.
Yeah, that's the job of the president. I hear you.
Not everybody's going to be happy about this. But I got to do what's right for the Zid Hounds.
True. True, yeah. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, you know, as long as I've got a part of it, you know, road captain, whatever. You know, that's good. Do you think it can, you know, is Cap up to it? That's where I'm concerned.
You and I both know he isn't.
True. True. But hey, you know, he's family to you. He's family to all of us because he's a Zid Hound. But
we're all family. And just because he's my nephew doesn't mean he gets to step up. He had ample opportunity. And he never stepped up.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'd like to have seen him lead that raid to the detention center to get you out. You know,
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he had things on. Is he going to take it well when you tell him?
No, of course not.
You know,
that's for you
while
to
the
manage.
other guys.
That's
What?
for you to manage, Clutch.
Whoa. Whoa. That's a big ask. There, Mergo. It's a big ask.
Yeah, it is.
You know, spend my time out on the road so much. You know, that's a big job and big shoes to fill. That's for sure.
He reaches up and puts his cybernetic hand on your shoulder. He says, "Gonna have to wave goodbye to that fire spray you've got snuck out in the middle of the junkyard, tinkering away on. Gonna have to spend more time with these rascals."
Not much gets past you, Prez. That's for sure. You know, I thought that was well under the radar. Yeah, well, you know, that was just a side project, just in case all this stuff with the hidden Becks never worked out. Yeah, well, today's an important day. You know, let's not, you know, keep it together today. You know, we can deal with a transition, you know, later on, and you know, we can sit down with Cap and see how it is with him. What do you reckon, boss?
I'll put it off for a day. And as for Cap, if he stays your VP, that's your call. You reorganize this club as you see fit.
Yeah, you know, I'm not going to do anything against Cap. That's going to be his call. You know, but yeah, he's going to have to make more of something for himself, really. You know, I'd like to see him out a bit more on the road, you know, but yeah, I'll deal with that in the future. But yeah, give me 24 hours. You know, let's see how this plays out with the Becks. You know, I don't think they're going to take this line down.
No. Of course, there's a couple of Becks here.
Yeah. And I'll sort of look around. Who do I notice in the crowd?
You see that Kuna is probably kicked back, sharing a couple of beers with Ray and Lurbla. And out on the floor, the makeshift dance floor, the dance area kind of, is Gar and his beautiful new wife, Anise. Two of them seem very, very happy together.
Okay. I think probably this is a good time. It might be worth having a chat with Kuna about Velo. See if he's, I don't know if somebody else wants to do that.
So I think along with Lurbla and Ray, Dwayne is also there with Kuna, and I think, if Clutch, if you're going to approach Kuna, I think what we hear is, as we zoom in a little bit more on Kuna, is Dwayne is like, your family now, right? You married in, you're hidden back, but family's family.
Nice.
Other than to Bully, of course.
Yeah, Bully might have it. Gar says, thanks, Dwayne. And like I imagined that he's Doug are short, right? Because the way that they move around. So he kind of leaned down, not trying to seem insulting, but like pat you on the shoulder. Thanks. That's good of you to say. And yeah, who's going to approach Kuna? I'm really curious who wants to chat with the old man.
I think Wild Thing.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah. I mean, I did already speak to him before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just, just catch him. I think maybe having a smoke out the side, right, or something. Because it seems like a nicer wedding that we wouldn't just be smoking inside, even if it is an outlaw wedding. But we are
just go away from the others and hit the death sticks away. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And just like loom over Kuna and just be like, so you thought anything more about what we said?
Takes a drag. Spoke with Kevin earlier. He told me what you guys showed him.
Sad day for the Becks.
Yeah. Used to stand for something.
Well, congratulations. A big furry hand on his shoulder.
Yeah. I don't know how much. I don't know how much of the Becks is going to be left after this. Take care of Gar. Yeah.
Always a place in the Zidhounds.
And he puts the death stick in his, and he kind of pulls his arm up, and you see all these like hidden Beck tats that he's got, just like all the way up. And he says, "No, man, no. Heading back for life. Like my son, he can make his own choices, but he wasn't part of anything that Bully did. He just made his way into his own cut."
And I think it's just nod of respect at the ride or die kind of attitude, and away, code of the road. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm looking at time, and there's a part of me that's like, I would like, do we have a big three-way fight, or do we move to epilogue so that we've got plenty of space for it?
I'm always up for a
Epilogue,
fight.
I think.
Pardon?
Epilogue, I think.
I think epilogue feels right. It means we end up just a little bit earlier than normal, but I'd rather have the space than cut it short. So who would like to go first with your character's epilogues? Your character's singular epilogue. Remember, epilogue is end of series type minute, you get narrative authority for where you end up. You could put your character to bed, you could set them up for their next adventure, because it is Star Wars Saturdays. If you really love this character and we are playing a different game and you want to bring them back, that is a-okay. I have really enjoyed Terrace as a setting for Swoop Gangs. I will definitely be running it set here again, although I'm curious what the world will look like for that setting in particular. But who'd like to go first for epilogues? I just ask, try not to, if you're bringing another PC in, check in with that player and try not to kill off any major characters without, I think this, check in before it's committed to memory. Who'd like to go first with epilogue?
Mine's quite simple, and it's just whatever happens to all the other things, I think Clutch hands me the space keys for the skip break, and Wild Thing continues working on it, and there's a little hollow of Oleander, like just up on the workbench where he's playing with some music playing from a speaker, as he goes about the grease monkey kind of epilogue scene. He's cool. Maybe his ticket off Terrace and away from this life at some point, but for now the gang needs him, so he is around for any other epilogues as well.
Like it.
I'll. So I think we see Crusher. He has taken the crown from Murgo, but just like Conan, it is indeed a troubled crown, and I think we'll see we might see the junkyard sort of under attack by some people wearing Hidden Beck's outfits. And then literally the camera sort of pans up on one of them and wearing this Hidden Beck's outfit is Cap. He's switched sides and has sort of sold me out. So hopefully I haven't messed with any of your NPCs there. He's still alive, but he's flipped. He's gone to the dark side.
So good.
So I've got one for Dwayne. Dwayne, this is very, very far in the future, and you can see Dwayne's gotten older, and I think one of his legs is kind of limp, maybe in a sling or something like that. And he comes out of the orphanage, right? And there's all new kids, and you can see he's old and everything. And he steps forward, and I think there's some there's some gang, let's say it's the Hidden Becks, that's kind of harassing the orphanage. And Dwayne comes out with like a big pipe and just starts beating the crap, beating them off. And we see all the little kids, and they're hiding back and kind of looking through the windows of the orphanage. And then Velo steps out, and Velo kind of comes out and pulls out the guns and starts shooting to help fend off the gang as well. And then I think Dwayne kind of pats Velo up on the shoulder, or maybe the waist, because that's about as high as he could reach. And then the two of them go back inside the orphanage.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
I think Crushers is also quite far into the future. It's in this quite fancy apartment somewhere in the upper city, and she's old now. She's like 70 maybe, and she's looking in her, I don't know what a Star Wars closet looks like, her space closet, and looking through her clothes. She has all these fancy clothes, but then she pushes them aside, and her old cut is hanging there with a blaster mark from when she was leading the Imperials on, and then a small like a young girl runs in, like maybe 5 or 6, and she points, "Oh, what's that? What's that? Oh, don't worry about that. Grandma had a different life before this one."
Oh, that's cool. And this is all on terrace, right? You said that it was like upper terrace.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Cool. Brian, what about for Twang? Any notions for an epilogue?
I think we're at Hodger's, and you see, you hear the Xantha music playing, and it's kind of close up on Twang. She's kind of nodding, and then it pulls back, and you see that, like, oh, it's not actually Twang playing. It's Sim. Is finally, with enough lessons, is still not as good as Twang. I mean, but it's finally kind of hitting those notes, and and maybe we see Hodger's tail, like, give a little happy waggle.
Nice. And to wrap things up, I think what happens with the Black Vulcans and the Hidden Becks is that Booley disappears. Kiana disappears as well. Velo is no longer a Hidden Beck, but Kuna and Dash remain in the Becks. The Black Vulcans dissolve, and some of the members end up with the Hidden Becks, Cavan, Vidar, Bax, but some of the others just head off. And yeah, that's the end of the Black Vulcans, and the Hidden Becks are irrevocably changed, not destroyed, like a phoenix. They're remade. But yeah, still not buddy with you guys, but kind of, yeah, like the Mayans and the Sons of Anarchy near the end of the series. Like, maybe occasionally you guys might ride together on stuff. You mostly stay out of each other's way. But
and can we have a post-credit sting with
totally
scope, like maybe like one of our scenes, like the end of it, like, or maybe like the clutch and the cap moment kind of thing, as the two gangs are facing off, and like one of those Star Wars monocle things, like monoculars scanning in and then pulling out, and it's Kiana with a sniper rifle.
Hell yeah.
Because they're out there as a threat kind of thing, waiting to plotting their revenge.
Of course. I love it. That's great. Cool. So like I said, we get to end a little bit early, which is great. So let's go around the horn and do a quick round of stars. We won't worry about wishes because hopefully you got what you wanted. So who'd like to go first with a few stars to hand out? So we can comprise the entire series. I know this is a shorter session.
I can go first this time. I just go in some order. I can see I'll start with Will. I really like the way you lead into the whole ride or die thing. The real gang loyalist. And I think you had an interesting portrayal of a character who could have been. It's always difficult with very non-human aliens, I think. So I really like that. And Stephen Dwang was just awesome. Just this because it's a kind of person you can really picture. I mean, you know someone who is that kind of happy-go-lucky guy, but can also throw down when the need arises. That was really cool. And Brian, I really liked playing all the little touches, the music, and that poem was awesome. I didn't volunteer to read it because I don't think I could have kept from crying a little bit. It's so cute. You did it really well, and the music always. The music was awesome. And Paul, you played Clutch really well. I like the, the kind of really loyal supporter of the president. No, I can't possibly take on this awesome job. Please give it to me. That sort of thing. Yeah, I really like that. And I think you did a great job of playing a leader figure without taking over. You were always checking in, and I mean, you were kind of making the decisions. I think you portrayed it in a good way, where you were kind of making the decisions as the character, but as a player, you were always checking in and making sure and listening. That was really great. And Rich, you gave us so many delicious problems and awesome situations. I had a great time the whole time. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Andish.
Go ahead,
Anybody?
Stephen.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I did like the wedding. I liked all of the Swoop Gangy stuff. I thought the wedding was a nice kind of like, very different tone. Do you know what I mean? Like, but in a very wholesome way. Something that I don't think we got a chance to see much of because you want to lean into tension and drama more in like other bits, right? But it's a good like end of season sort of like event to have. I didn't see it coming as a thing. It was great. I really liked Clutch taking over because Clutch, I loved the fact that we had a decent road captain who was following the way of the club and getting things done, right? And we had this jerk of a like VP basically, like, and I liked especially like the conversation at the end where it's like Clutch kind of needs it spelling out for him that he is going to be the president of the club going forwards. I loved the Xanth music and like coming up as a sort of thing, and it just provided it like, I don't know what Xanth music sounds like, but I imagined it over everything that happened in the stuff, right? Like all the interstitials and everything. It was just there in between very moody rock music and stuff like that. I liked Crush's like shoot out of the police station. That was one of my favorite things, and the whole leaving the friends behind and everything. That was great. And the Imperials coming after her. And Dwang, I feel like Dwang got the bulk of our like special effects and stunt budget for the thing going on, because every single thing they did was like turned up to 11 when it came to it, right? And I think that was a very useful person to have on your side. And I like the fact that we could split up into different groups and do stuff and still be like part of a team working towards like a common goal of like what's good for the Zidhounds is, what's good for each other kind of stuff, So like we can all have our different things, but we are all kind of like, that's the club, right? Like and I think we all really leaned into that, which was great. Rich, I very much liked the mystery of, as I said before, what do the Becks and the Vilkas and the things. I loved see that come out. And I liked when I think it was about halfway you started switching from like what is it you guys want to do overall to introducing something from like a community side of things, like another NPC, and like asking the players about it, because if you ask us as players like what do you want to do, we'll probably deal with the dramatic like actionable thing rather than I check in on the NPC that I haven't really thought about much since creating, or I will try and insert that NPC into a dramatic scene that does both things rather than have like, oh, your Xanth student wants more lessons, but then you also want the hook wants you to play for him, or my wedding, something is going on with my big fat wedding, kind of stuff, So I thought that was a cool idea.
Thank you.
So, but yeah, thanks guys. Those are all my stars.
Good stuff.
So I liked a lot of the scenes, especially in this last session. Like Paul, I really liked your idea of those floating discs that came up, so we could have that whole conversation. That was great. And I expected that conversation to be a little bit more difficult in us, getting in a fight, but it turned out really good because of where you said it and the way that you said it. I thought that was really nice. I have to say, Brian, I really liked the way that you officiated the wedding, and especially that poem that you had, and the things that you said. That was really good. I really enjoyed that. Crusher, I like the scene at the very beginning where Wild Thing is like, no, I'm just going to go out and talk to the imps, and I'm like, yeah, Wild Thing's dead. And then once Wild Thing headed off, Crusher's like, oh yeah, I'm going after him. Right, I'm going to go back and be back up, and then I'm going to pull the heat off, and everything's going to. And that whole scene of how it all fit together worked really, really well. And then Rich, thanks for letting us, basically we did like a sharp left turn, there with here's this big gang war that's about to happen, and then suddenly it was, oh, we're going to finish with the wedding, because that's sort of like, I'm sure all of the fans of the TV show that are watching this series is like, oh no, what, I didn't get the big fight I wanted to see. Oh, I got to see the community wedding instead. And then the stinger at the end with like the sniper sitting there, you're like, oh, I've got to tune in next season to see who they shot, right?
Yeah, that was a great stinger. I've really appreciated that. Cool.
I'll shoot on next. This is my first SWS. I had a blast of a time. Really good players. I really liked how everybody bought an individual character. Brian with Xanth playing, but an actionable character. There was lots of gunfire coming out of your character and stuff. Stephen, you really leaned into Dwang, but Dwang wasn't stupid. He was always there to help out, sort of thing. So yeah, while he was a bit sort of lucky, free rolling individual, he was played with a lot of really good style, I thought, and just really great playing the human. Picking to play a female character, I just thought that worked, really, really well. And there was, that I think, as Will said, that scene. Were you getting out of there, and you decided to carry, it was really, really good. Will, I thought, you played really well on sort of two levels. There were some things were going right over my head at times, and you really sort of like explained it, from a player to a player, really well. And Rich, it really did feel like a movie or like an episodic sort of TV thing, and kudos for use of a floor plan. Hardly ever see it, and that was a tight episode. There were only 3-player characters there, but that really helped. And I'd really like to see a few other GMs use floor plans when they're needed, because for me that really, really did help that session really well. Thanks.
Cool. Well, the traditional stars to everybody. I really appreciate everybody sticking through. I was nervous when we had one episode where 2 people couldn't make it, but that paid off in a nice tight episode. This was delightful. I felt like, oh, well, Terrace is interesting. And I was like, oh, what if people have played Knights of the Old Republic and know this way better than me? Oh no. But one of the things I adore about the Gauntlet and Star Wars Saturdays is that I can rely on players to help with their knowledge rather than try to gatekeep or lord it over. And I just love that isn't present in the Gauntlet, whereas I've had that. They're like, oh, don't set it in a city where you don't know very well, but somebody else does. I remember when I foolishly set a game in New Orleans of Vampire the Masquerade, and somebody was just like, no, actually, me, for the whole 7-year long chronicle of like, no, actually, oh my God, it was the worst. But here I could say, I'm going to do a little bit of research on Terrace. I'm going to get to know Terrace. It's thousands of years since the Knights of the Old Republic, which is enough distance to where I don't have to be beholden to it. but also I want to pull from some of those strings that I know about it, that I see in Wikipedia that seem interesting. And we launched right into it. We told a rocking good story. I love the strata of Terrace and how the Undercity was this community that you guys got. I know a lot of times in Swoop Gangs, the community aspect, like it falls by the wayside a little bit as people go out and kick ass and take names. And I love that we pulled it back a few times. And during this last break, I was like, I really love this wedding, and like I'm going to go for it, and I hope nobody gets mad. I appreciate that everybody rolled with it, because that's the kind of Sons of Anarchy season finale that really makes me happy. Is the connections, the community, the wrapping up of loose ends without it always being at the end of a blaster bolt. And it was great. I love the quiet scenes that we saw from everyone. I love how folks have embodied their characters, and that allegiance to the club was just something that was permeated the game, and really is exactly what I want out of a Swoop Gangs game. So great series with you guys. I really enjoyed 5 sessions. We really got to know these characters, and the epilogues were wonderful too. So thank you all so much for playing. I'll go ahead and bring the recording to an end here.